Reddit. Why did you break up with your ex? He apparently had been thinking about breaking up with me for months. But didn't. Because I wasn't really doing anything wrong in the relationship. Unlike his previous ex GFS. I wasn't mental. When he finally told me he was unhappy and how long he had been, I broke up with him. Because it was clear he didn't want to be with me. But didn't want to say so. Maybe he didn't want to be a bad guy. I don't know. Lack of communication caused a lack of honesty, which caused a lack of trust. Then she FK'd someone else. Her ex-fiance contacted her and wanted to get back together. She essentially strung us both along. Until I gave her an ultimatum. Him or me. She said she didn't want to choose and she had to see what would happen with them. She understood that trying with him might mean losing both of us. That's exactly what happened. I stopped contacting her after that. They ended a few weeks after that. And she asked me to take her back. I refused to be the second choice. I deserve better than that. I was a full-time single dad for 11 years and she was not good to my sons. Edit. Thanks everyone for your support. I really appreciate it, and thanks to my patron for the gold. She was a borderline alcoholic. And every time she got drunk, she would throw up, shit her pants, and cry her eyes out about how she misses her ex. She was a very sloppy kind of drunk. You know. The one that ends up ruining the night for everyone. I've heard of happy drunks, sad drunks, angry drunks and violent drunks. I've seen people who regularly puke from drinking and even a few who enjoy public urination. I have never seen, heard of or smelled someone who just TS themselves while drunk. Seriously, who the FCK just TS themselves? I found the condom from the guy she had FK'd in my car. She tried to play it off like, no, that's just a condom from when we had sex a few nights ago. I was just going to throw it out. It must have fallen out of the trash. Nope. I always tie my condoms. That cocksucking son of a bitch didn't. So now not only is his skeet all over my former girlfriend, but also all over the black interior of my car. I changed. He didn't. We were both fat, had horrible low-paying jobs, and were generally total depressed FCK ups. I got sick of it. I lost 100 pounds, went back to school, and got a good job. His response was good. You're making more money so I can quit my job and stay home. Nope. You're skinny and getting paid more? Awesome. I'll just get fatter and paid less to maintain a balance. We had communication problems. I didn't listen well enough and she had problems expressing herself, what with all the other dudes' cocks in her mouth. He started to treat me like shit after I miscarried, like this was my fault. Edit. Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it. My health is not quite okay, it was complicated somehow. I needed a surgery. Without going into details, my chances right now of having a kid are a question mark, and he knew it BTW. I wouldn't say it's extremely common. Especially in my case, not that very by the book situation. Though I know it's not rare. She used me for my sperm, got pregnant, turned lesbian, and stole my son. Also, she didn't like Arrested Development. He kept calling me. At work. At home. At 2 in the morning. If I didn't answer, I got a text where he asked where I was and who I was with. Forgot to bring my phone to work one day. And when I got home, he was waiting outside my apartment. I had 37 unanswered calls on my phone. And more than 20 unread text messages waiting from him that day. If I liked a post on Facebook that was written by a man, I had to explain to him who the man was and how I knew him. The final straw was when he called my parents' house. Because I didn't pick up the phone, I decided he was way too crazy and told him to bugger off. After a couple of weeks dating, She told me about how she cut off a piece of her ex's ball sack while blowing him. So apparently she found out that her ex was cheating on her, so she offered him a blowjob while hiding a pair of scissors under the blanket. As he was about to climax, she got out the scissors and cut off a piece of his ball sack. I have a vagina and this made my balls hurt. Holy balls. She's nuts. Got tired of taking care of a 12-year-old in a 32-year-old's body. You don't want to know how I just interpreted that for a second. She cheated on me with multiple people and didn't have the balls to fess up. She literally does not have balls. She too had a girlfriend. They were better for each other anyway, seeing as they were both lesbians. My new GF loves a D, so everyone is happy. I thought that there were many girls waiting for me. Maybe it's just personal experience, but I felt that more guys flirt with me and are interested when I'm in a relationship than when I'm single. Boom. Gone. She was banging the Gene Simmons lookalike in a Kiss cover band called Alive. Attempted rape. Great that you had the courage to break up with him. Her. At her best she was interesting, funny, and a joy to be around. At her worst she was lazy, unmotivated, and waited for the world to come to her. The later quality I could not deal with, because it was precisely the thing I despised about myself. He was selfish, unkind, and he didn't really care enough to try or show effort. I showed him a lot of effort and he showed me none. To this day, I still beat myself up sometimes thinking I could have done a better job. Not doing a better job, if that makes any sense. But then I tell myself that I'm me and that if he didn't care for me enough to try, then he will never care, and it is him, not I. It sits there in the back of my mind and messes up thoughts I have in new relationships because I have lost a lot of trust based on some things he's said to me. Even though we don't speak anymore, I still wonder. Whoa. Therapy session right there. Thanks. Reddit. He was really controlling. He would always throw God into my face with everything I did. Just to list a few examples of the things he told me. Don't dye your hair. You only look pretty with blonde hair. I have a SZL condition where I need sex every day. As a woman, God requires you to do that for me. I got my first tattoo and he said, why did you do that? That's God's body, not yours. BTW, at that time my ex had his lip and eyebrow pierced. Vertical bar. It even got so bad that he told me that he wouldn't be attracted to me unless I'll let him perform an LSX on me. And again he said that I'm required to let him do that because that's what God would want me to do. He was a creep. He wouldn't let me play COD with him and smacked the controller from my hand because girls don't really like these games. Do they? Then you burnt his fedora collection. Cheated on her. Feel disgusted with myself. Don't even think I deserve to fight for her back. She's perfect and much better off without me. You're an asshole. But then again, at least you're not guilt-free. Move on. And become a better man. He was not smart. Thought frogs were not animals. He was a bigot. Thought interracial dating meant one race was trying to eradicate the other. Hit on my friends. They're my friends. Like they won't tell me. Would not accept no as an answer to booty play. I have a DR. S note. Close bracket. Just not a good match. Holy shit. I hooked up with a guy a few times who thought lobsters weren't animals. When I asked him what exactly he thought a lobster was, he told me, it's a creature. She died. And on top of that, you broke up with her? Hush. She was very conceited and never cared about anybody else other than herself. The final straw for me was on Christmas when all of my friends and family were out of town and I had nothing for the day. She was too busy watching movies all day to spend 5 minutes on the phone. He was a heroin addict. Few months ago. Found out he robbed a Chinese buffet and I lolled. Her parents didn't approve of me. Because of my nationality. My family is Taiwanese and her family is Chinese. Even though they're both American. I wasn't good enough for them. I broke up with X1 because I found out X2 had become single. I wasn't invited to be back with X2 or anything. But I just kind of knew she was the one I wanted to be with forever. I didn't want to be a dick to X1, so I broke up with her. X1 was really hurt and pissed, but it was really in her best interest and allowed me to pursue without also being a liar. X2 is now my wife. He cheated on me. With a guy. After the initial shock of that, I realized how much of an asshole he actually was. Later, we kind of became friends. I still think he's an asshole. But his boyfriend is really cool. We broke up first because I was convinced she cheated on me. A few of her friends had told me so. She called me paranoid and convinced me she hadn't done anything, and then we got back together. Gave me a bit of a complex. Then a few months into the relationship, told me that she had indeed cheated on me and that I was crazy for being offended. I tried to stay with her, for some reason. But I just couldn't. Full stop. To quote Arrested Development. I made a huge mistake. We got pregnant, unplanned. I wanted to keep it. He didn't. I had to move across the country. We found out I was pregnant the night of my going away party. I had an abortion. Alone. And the whole situation tore us apart. I found someone who is a ton better. My ex and I were together for close to 4 years. During which he lied about where he was. Got so angry he tried to hit me. Argued about everything. And when I came from my grandfather's funeral upset, he asked me, "No offense, but why are you so upset?" I'm now happily in a relationship of close to 2 years. He broke up with me. Nobody breaks up with a Swedish girl. So I hear you're Swedish. Semicolon. He had a fatal disease and was an asshole about it. Hey honey. Wanna hang out with my friends? Ugh. No. Your friends are buckets of diseases that are probably all sick, which will get me sick. Now my friends who are complete assholes and drink and drive constantly. I had one of those too. Why are the guys with fatal diseases such assholes? Also, why do we date the guys with fatal diseases? Doesn't seem practical on our part. She had severe bipolar disorder and we were both too young and immature to understand it or deal with it. I wasn't able to be there for her as I didn't understand the issues. The NLSX was great. I do miss the NLSX. She was a sicko. Well, Leroy. Maybe she thought you were rushing into things before she was ready. I was on a rebound and dated this girl who was pretty much perfect in every sense of the word. My ex got jealous and wanted me back. I broke up with the awesome girl to get back with my other ex. Now we are broken up again and the girl I was on a rebound with has moved on. I was not a smart man. TL. Doctor broke up with perfect girl to get back with ex. My ex screwed me over again, so I lost both women. Shit sucks.